You're watching Cover to Cover, our guide to the Sikh and Punjabi books that you need to read. This week we're introducing Sikh Genocide 84, which is a work compiled and edited by Justice A.S.Choudhary and S.S.Chowdhary. This work is available in hardbound edition and has only just been published here in London this year, 2019. As you can probably tell from seeing me struggle to hold this up, this is an absolute colossal piece of work and is, in my opinion, the most important piece of work that's come out on 1984 since Akal Publishers' reflections on 1984 from a few years ago. The two authors, Justice A.S.Choudhary and S.S.Chowdhary, are brothers, and in the acknowledgements they make it clear that this work is really the culmination of the hard work of their father, Sardar Tarlok Singh, who had gathered together every single newspaper clipping and cutting that he could find from the events of 1984. This was something he was doing whilst it was still current, so somebody who was quite forward-thinking and clearly well-educated in realizing the need to gather how media coverage of the events that were taking place so far away in Punjab was being presented. Now, before we say anything else, it is absolutely no mean feat to try to gather the copyright permissions and all of the acknowledgements, the correct URLs, and permissions for everything that has been reproduced in this book. And for that, the authors 100% have to be lauded for the amount of dedication that it would have taken to do that and bring this book to publish. But what are we actually looking at? Well, we have principally 12 chapters that are the context for the events of 1984. We have an introduction that talks about the Battle of the Golden Temple. We have a second chapter about Blue Star, a third chapter about Operation Woodrose. Chapter 4 covers the various operations that take place onto the Sikh populace throughout the 1980s. Chapter 5 contains a picture gallery. Chapter 6 talks about the rape of Sikh women throughout these whole events. Chapter 7 is about human rights violations and fundamental freedoms of Sikhs. Chapter 8 is a reprint of an article by the late National Professor of Sikhism, Sardar Kapoor Singh, titled The Golden Temple, Its Theo-Political Status. Chapter 9, British Complicity in Sikh Genocide, which is a chapter taken from the work of journalist Phil Miller, who revealed in 2014 that the British government had been complicit in the invasion of the Darbar Sahib in June of 1984. Chapter 10 is Criminalising Sikh Dissent, which is excerpt taken from a publication that came out last year. Chapter 11 is a list of genocides by death toll, so nice tabulated format of how various genocides have taken place throughout the world. And chapter 12 is a genesis of Sikh genocide, so a chapter trying to provide context as to how Sikhdom in the 20th and 21st century is moving forward. Chapter 13 sees the republication of an instrument of Charter of Khalistan, so quite interesting documents to take a look at there. But this work is all about what comes through chapter 14. And these are the press cuttings, so media coverage that spans 1984 through to 1989. And it makes up 3/4, probably a little bit more than that, of this entire colossal piece of work. The chapter opens with a lengthy index detailing what each article is, which publication it came from, and the day that it went to print. Now, it's not that any of that media coverage is not available elsewhere, but by reproducing it in this one volume and providing unfettered access in high resolution, in a chronological order with full referencing, what the authors have done is nothing short of fantastic. This is not just for the researchers and historians amongst us, but for anyone who is interested in what took place in 1984, and specifically with how the Western world was trying to look at these events and covering them. As you can imagine, this volume is replete with references, footnotes, and further notes wherever required. And although a number of the articles that lead up in the preamble are widely available online in the digital world, it is great to have them in this publication to hand, so that as you flick back through media coverage and press clippings, you can go back to see how that fits into the narrative that the Sikh world has taken on board about the events of 1984. The reproducing of these print cuttings is incredibly important because unlike the digital sphere, which most of us might use to access old news stories now, these print cuttings cannot be doctored and edited. You are seeing what people reading on those days at that time were looking at in their newspapers. Moreover, there is a narrative that runs through this that provides insights to people who probably think they know so much about 1984 already, including myself. And that's why I would recommend that everybody be considering purchasing this work. The chapters provided by way of preamble to this work are important because they provide great context for a new reader or even the seasoned veteran as to what 1984 was all about. But that's not why you're going to be buying this book. This work is going to be bought so that you have access, easy access, to media coverage of the events of 1984. Each one of those press clippings is in high resolution, incredibly detailed, and provides lots and lots of insights into how the rest of the world was seeing the Indo-Sikh conflict. The price point for this work is going to put off a number of potential readers. However, it is worth every single penny. And while some of you might be thinking it's easy for me to say I've got an evaluation copy, that's not the case. At Naujawani, we purchase every single item so that we can give a completely free review of the work, unbiased, not having to give a positive review just because we got a free copy. It is priced at UK £49 and it was worth every single penny to have all of that media coverage in one place. 600 pages plus of sometimes color photography as well as high resolution coverage of everything that took place. I don't think you can really put a price on that, and it's a work that I really commend the authors and publishers for bringing into print. But we want to know what you think, so please leave us a comment below and share your thoughts on Sikh Genocide 84 by Justice A.S.Choudhary and S.S.Chowdhary. Make sure you subscribe to our Naujawani YouTube channel and join us again here at Cover to Cover, our guide to the Sikh and Punjabi books that you need to read.